Hi everybody, I'm Biba.
And I'm Heidi.
And we are Aesthetically Sisters.
I can't believe this is episode 2.
I know.
I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry.
No tears.
Makeup is really pretty.
Thanks. My hair's a bit oily today, but...
It's not. You look amazing.
You always look amazing.
No, I just come back from the hairdressers.
Facts. People doesn't wash her own hair.
I don't. No, thank you.
Princess.
Yeah, it's just too time consuming.
When we were on break, actually, Biba attempted to wash her own hair at home. And mind you, not to, say anything bad, the bitch has extensions in. She didn't have extensions in over the holiday break. So she had half the amount of hair on her head.
It's true.
And she's like to me, we're on FaceTime. She's like, okay, I'm going to go wash my hair. I'm like, all right. 2 hours later, comes back and she's blow drying. I said, what were you doing for 2 hours? She's like, I was just trying to wash my hair. She doesn't wash her hair herself. So when she has to, it's a full day process. It's actually a job.
I just don't like to do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I blame it on the water pressure. It's too many steps and then I get carried away with 100 serums and then brushing it and then drying it. And I don't want to use a GHD, so I try and use blow dry. I'm lost. I'm done.
Babe, I'm so sorry, but you have 5 hairs. You're like Homer Simpson combing his 3
I know,
hairs.
but that's why...
It's not all that.
I do it twice a week. Hairdresser, no problem.
Yeah, that's nice.
Washed and styled.
I used to go to the hairdresser often, but I just think I like doing my own hair. I'm very much a control freak, so...
Yeah.
We just do it myself with my...
But your hair is so straight and it's not problematic. I've got curly hair.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why it takes me 2 hours. Anyway, how's your week been?
My week's been good. Week. It's actually a Tuesday today.
We've had since...
I know, but I'm saying, just so people know.
Oh, yeah.
It's Tuesday. And I had the craziest weekend. Now, for those who know me, I'm a creature of routine. I'm generally in bed by 9 p.m. I wake up at 5:45.
It's true.
I'm very in routine. Now, this weekend, I had the busiest
an early bird.
You know what they say? The early bird gets the worm.
You can have all the worms, babe.
I want them all. Anyway, so this weekend, Friday night, I had a 30th. Saturday night, I had this big barbecue. Sunday, I had a wedding. Monday morning, I woke up and mind you, I was drinking all weekend, sleeping 2, 3 a.m., worked Saturday.
You did.
Chaos. And a wedding is just a Lebanese wedding are exhausting.
They're hard work.
It's a lot. Waking up, doing hair, makeup, going to the church, hanging out, going to the reception, the music. It's a lot. So I woke up yesterday ruined. And I was like, I can't wait to go home and sleep. And then I got
She
home.
actually said that to me on FaceTime in the morning yesterday.
Yeah, I was so excited. And then I didn't sleep till 2 a.m. again. I'm just a busybody.
You are.
And I'm really excited to go home and sleep tonight. I actually want to sleep 8 o'clock.
We'll see if she actually gets to sleep early.
No, there's nothing stopping me today. I actually can't. If I don't sleep one more day, I'm calling in sick tomorrow.
Well, you've got no reason. Your man's flies out tonight.
I know.
Heidi's man takes his first vacation away from Heidi.
So he's actually going to Hawaii, Vegas, LA, and Miami. And I was just talking to a client who's going to Miami, and she's like, you're letting your boyfriend go alone?
Yeah.
So this is controversial now.
It is controversial.
Because I've said it to other clients, but literally just now, my client that I saw before I got it getting on the podcast, made me tick.
That's what Slim said to me though.
Yeah.
When I told him he's going to Vegas because
apparently Vegas is wild and he's going to be there for Valentine's Day. But
don't worry, we're going to be with shits and gigs for Valentine's Day.
I know, I'm so excited for that.
I'll take them two over.
Well, you don't have anyone, so you take them two over anyone, doll.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great Valentine's, babe.
No, it'll be fun.
So as of today, I am basically Heidi's temporary boyfriend.
It's exciting.
It is.
I'm just excited to have free time away from males.
Babe, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's a good fucking life.
Look, I'm actually excited for him to travel as well, but at the same time, leading up to it, I'm exhausted and I'm not even going on the trip. So,
that's true.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. How was your week, doll?
It's been crazy. I didn't have a wild weekend like you. I rarely ever do.
Very rarely. Surprisingly, Biba doesn't leave her house.
I get 30 hours off work a week.
Yeah.
That is not going to get me out of the house.
No.
And The worst part was I did something stupid. I dissolved my top lip.
I wouldn't say it's stupid. I think it was very brave.
It was very brave.
And I think it
but
was
I should not have done
needed.
it on.
Your lips look so fine. Nobody has noticed that you dissolved them. Nobody has said. Everyone has told you look really pretty. You look beautiful. You look young. I think it's great. I think it was overdue.
No, it was. It was 10 years of accumulated filler and treatments and like time and
Bieber
time
has
again.
this thing. Well, it's not a thing. It's a fact. She's very, very poor time management skills. So Bieber travels often, and I'm getting
You're coming hard at me today.
I'm getting the look. No. So Bieber,
I'm never late to anything.
not one person will agree with that statement.
No, I'm a changed girl. I've been on time for a whole year.
Yeah, okay. You made William wait an hour and a half in a restaurant for you.
When?
In November.
That was not even my fault. The city was closed. It took me an hour and a half to get from my house to the city.
Anyways, so back to time management.
And why are you fighting his case?
I would have been mad too. No, back to time management. So she travels often throughout the year, like at least 2-3 times. And she knows she's going, but she waits until like the night before flying to treat herself.
Yeah,
and
but that's because I get so busy at work.
I know, but this is why. But this is why we needed to dissolve. It was just time.
Yeah, it was just time. Anyway, I'm refilling them, so you won't be missing them that much.
I don't think she needs.
By episode 3, baby, they'll be back. Maybe not as big. I don't think I want them to be as big.
Definitely not as big.
No, I don't want them to be as big, but they're not going to stay this small. I can hardly recognize.
They're not even.
I can't. I'm not joking. I'm struggling to drink. I'm struggling to eat. I'm struggling to like talk.
Do you know, she probably has to put like food and the water closer to her mouth. Her body's not used to it.
I'm like making a mess.
Must be a hard life.
It is. My child won't even kiss me.
That's problematic.
It is.
On the topic of like filler, we obviously don't live under a rock, and you would have seen. So recently, just to backtrack for you guys, last week in New South Wales in Sydney, there was a lady doing illegal treatments from her home, basically like Botox, fake anti-wrinkle treatments from her home. Now, this lady was not even a medical practitioner, not a nurse, not a doctor, no one who has the qualifications or the knowledge to be performing these treatments, had been using products that are not FDA or TGA approved, so most likely bought on like Alibaba or like some website that sells fake products. Yeah. And treating people as if in a house. That's
and
not even a sterile clinical.
3 of her clients ended up in the hospital.
It's ridiculous. Now, they also released a few days later that the lady and like a few others were like charged, and like they named and shamed them, which I think is good.
I agree.
Only because like it's people, I feel, because anti-wrinkle and dermal fillers have become so common, which is fine, don't even consider it as like a medical procedure per se. Like it's like, you know, going and getting your eyebrows done. It's really not that of a relaxed situation. Yeah. Not that it's like surgery, but it sometimes can be classified a minor surgical procedure, and there needs to be things that need to be done prior, and knowledge and skill and expertise behind the treatment. You just need to be
qualified minimum. You've got to be a registered nurse
at the bare minimum.
At the bare minimum, and not performing out of your apartment in Guildford.
I think it was Marylands?
Guildford. I don't know. The news said Guildford.
Fairfield?
Yeah, Guildford.
We're not from the West, I'm joking.
No, we're not. But we've got no problem with the West.
We love the West. We're in the West right now.
That's right. So I just think it's becoming absurd. People like herself that are bastardizing our industry. Yeah. And turning these medical procedures into like a come over job. And have a coffee.
It's like a Tupperware party.
Yeah. Like
bring your friends and you get a discount.
It's very bad. Yeah. It's not like a hair. I can understand when people go get their hair done at someone's house.
Yeah, you don't need to be in a clinical, sterile environment.
That's absolutely true.
We're not puncturing the skin.
That's right. And what baffles me even more is that how are people trusting them to believe that they're going to have safe treatments and their faces are being left in the hands of these non-trained, non-qualified people. They're not even practitioners.
And don't even know what's going in their face.
The saddest part is whoever was treating these clients, do they even know what is actually in what are the ingredients of the products that they bought online?
But
where did they come from?
It's honestly like, I think going back to why people would trust unqualified people, I think a big factor, and I hate to say, is actually money. And I understand that we live in like, you know, an economic crisis and interest rates are up and whatever, but having anti-wrinkle and dermal filler or any aesthetic treatment is not a necessity. And you've maybe gotten used to it and you need it a necessity, but it's a luxury. And if you can't in that month or in that period of your time budget for it or be able to get the treatment done, in no means should you go and look for a cheaper price because
or a backyard job.
People just think, oh, Botox is Botox. No, it is not.
No, it is not. Nothing burns me when someone say that. Oh, can you do my fillers? I just had my Botox done. And I'm like, where did you? Oh, I just went to the local place near my place. Cheaper. Because I feel like a monkey can do Botox. A client said that to me the other day.
And you know, I find that so funny because as a professional practitioner, to me, an anti-wrinkle treatment leaves me with a little bit more anxiety than a dermal filler treatment because the dermal filler, you know where you're putting it, you sort of see what it looks like once it's done. Anti-wrinkle takes like 2 weeks for you to see the end result.
But not just that, with fillers, if something is to go wrong, we can dissolve it. Instantly. Real quick. There's an enzyme, we inject it, gets rid of the filler, everything goes back to normal.
You can rectify it very quick.
With anti-wrinkle,
no.
You're stuck with those results for up to 3 months.
Yeah. And also like a lot of adverse events that happen from anti-wrinkle treatments, it's like clients going home and not following their aftercare.
That's correct.
Not like, applying makeup, cleansing, getting a facial. And I'm like, but you're not meant to be applying pressure into the area. And that first week, I'm like, oh my God, I hope they're listening.
But it also goes back to who's treating them. Are they being educated by their nurses, by their practitioners, what not to do, what to do? Are they getting sent home with instructions?
Yeah,
because
that's a big thing.
Can sit in that room. I can sit in a room with my clients for 45 minutes explaining risks, side effects, and what to expect. And they walk out of that front door and they're on the phone. I've got swelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. We put a needle in your face. You got swelling, hon. Did you not hear the 45 minutes?
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, and we obviously cover all these bases and clients have direct contact, you know, so they don't feel like they're being neglected.
But even so many times I treat clients like for the first time with myself that have had treatment also with other practitioners and have clinic hopped, and I'm explaining to them like the base, like, you know, like risks and side effects and what to expect. Like, oh my God, like I didn't know what an occlusion was. Oh my God,
100%.
What's ptosis? Or like, oh, I didn't know that this happens. And I'm just like, how, like, are you having a treatment done if they're not telling you what the risks and side effects of the treatment
That's correct. Especially nothing baffles me, sends me bamboozled when I'm doing a nose for a client, but before we start, I'm doing that whole 40-minute spiel and consult, and I say, there's a risk of blindness. I just need to know you are more than 150% sure you are ready and willing to take that risk. And they're looking at me like, Dr. So-and-so did my nose and didn't tell me that. Or this nurse I used to go to never ever once told me. The amount, I would say maybe 4% of my clientele that I've treated their noses and they've had treatment prior to me treating them, have not been informed of those risks or side effects.
That's really sad. It's actually sad.
It drives me crazy. Crazy.
Wow.
How's the industry become so trash?
In the nicest way.
No, because we've got trash people and I feel like trashing the industry.
I was getting my hair done a couple of weeks ago and I was speaking to the hairdresser and he was saying he wanted to do his nose and he goes to another clinic and the lady told him that you're not allowed to be nurses and practitioners and doctors aren't allowed to be treating the nose because it can cause blindness. And I'm like, well, that's not true. Like, and it really irritates me when someone isn't comfortable doing a treatment, which is fine. Like, I personally don't do the non-surgical rhinoplasty. Bibba does, but I'm not going to say, oh, you can't do it or you're not allowed to because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not comfortable doing it.
That's right.
And I think it's like, don't say stuff that isn't true because you don't know how to do it.
Well, that's it. There's a lot of misleading and deceiving information
that grinds my
circulating like through practitioners. It's like when they're not confident to treat
or they just lack knowledge of treating a specific area.
Absolutely.
Like there are so many muscles that I'm talking to clients about injecting and having integral treatments done in it, and they're like, oh, but my last injector said you're not allowed to put Botox in there. And I said, well, that's not true because it's a muscle and you can.
Yeah.
And you need to because ABC. And they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's like when we have clients that come in with complications from other clinics and other practitioners, and they're scared to go back to them.
Yeah.
Or they've gone back to them and said, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. I want it dissolved. But then they say to them things like, oh, you can't. If we dissolve, you're going to lose your own collagen. But that just comes down to lack of like knowledge, lack of confidence to actually use the enzyme to dissolve that filler.
Yeah.
That they're telling them, just live with this mess I've created on your face. Wait for it to go down on its own. And then we can refix it on another time.
Yeah. That to me, like, when people, due to lack of their own education, say incorrect things, because it's actually not, it's so overwhelming for a client. Like I imagine myself as the client, like having a treatment done, not being happy, not being properly educated, my practitioner not knowing what they're doing, sending me off. Like imagine how lost you feel. Then you go on social media, and that's a whole nother ball game.
Oh,
you have
don't even get me started.
People who have no degrees or no job, like telling you that you can and can't do this. And I'm like, but who are you? Or like saying stuff that everything that I say is like clinically based. There are clinical studies on it. There are trials and everything. And it's backed up by facts.
Absolutely.
And
did you hear that?
Facts. So yeah, that's what I think. And that makes me really confident with my practice because I know that I know what I'm doing.
Amen, you do.
And there's also so much for me to learn.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And
never learn enough.
We never get cocky. Ever.
Never.
Ever.
But what I do, I'm confident at.
Yes. Yeah, so I think it's like another thing that really has bothered me is when we speak to the client and they've come from somewhere else, they need fixing. That's the word they say, can you fix me, Bibba? And I say, what made you choose your last injector, like your last practitioner? What drew you to go and see this person and trust them with your face? And they say things like, oh, the before and afters they had were nice. I knew that would get you.
I can't tell you, like in the world of AI and before AI Facetune, it is so easy to edit your photos, increase brightness, decrease brightness, angles, contrast, like before.
To enlarge things.
Yeah.
I remember someone enlarged legs, so I was like, oh my God. You can enlarge legs, you're enlarging lips.
You can edit your before and afters. They're not an accurate representation of someone's skill.
That's right.
Don't get me wrong, some before and afters look amazing. But I think as a client, you should really be considering the lighting, if they're carrying up the client's lip to make it look like they have.
I'm dead. That one I don't understand.
To look like they have shape, or like holding back their, their jaw.
Or positioning them.
Yeah, having them down like this.
Like
then
this and put their head up so their chin's protruding.
Or the before photos like really zoomed, and then the after photos like just a normal standard zoom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people don't pick up on that. Like clients come in like, oh my God, like see, like I really want like this, and they show me and I'm like, okay, but can you see the lighting? Like, oh my God, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Or they'll show me something else. I'm like, okay, but look at the angle. Like, this is not real.
Yeah.
Like, she was sitting upright and then she was laying flat. Of course, she's going to look skinny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before and afters are misleading in the nicest
exactly,
way.
Because they could also be stolen.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, you can take them, people are using other people's work, and that's so copyright and drives me crazy. Like, when our...
I was about to say.
Yeah, like
we had years ago a couple of our before and afters. They get shared onto other people's photos. So now, and then I started having to put our logo like so big and then faint it.
Yeah.
So over the whole image, so people aren't stealing our work.
Absolutely, yeah. But no, even like when our Instagram got hacked.
Yeah.
And the hacker was like, if you don't pay me that much, I can sell your whole account because it's got 1,800 before and afters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a market for anything. So don't be fooled by people that...
Even not in like in cosmetic injectables, it's more so like even surgical procedures. Like I've heard so many stories about surgeons that steal other surgeons' work and advertise it as their own. Like this applies for everything. Eyebrows, lashes, like the lot.
But that happened with us in another time. There was a doctor from Turkey used my nose before and after
as a surgery.
As his surgery result.
That's a
that was
compliment.
flattering. That was motherfucking flattering.
Your
I was not
nose.
mad. As much as I was mad, I was not mad. I was like,
Just put my name down there.
this surgeon using my work. But the thing was, he took my before and afters, but didn't get rid of our watermark of our logo. And someone recognized it. More than 2 or 3 people called the clinic saying, is Biba doing surgery? Because we're seeing her work on the surgeon's page on Facebook.
That is wild.
And I'm like, oh,
Thanks.
you know who I am, but no, I'm not doing surgery.
You, queen.
That before and after is non-surgical.
Yeah.
I can make it look like surgery just without the surgery. My goodness. Yeah.
You know, there is so many misleading and deceiving things out online, and I feel for our clients because it's so scary and intimidating.
100%. And with all the regulation changes that have happened in the last year,
it makes it so much harder.
It does.
To identify like different practitioners and stuff because of the limitations.
Because we were able to talk about treatments, if you qualify for a treatment, what services we offer, and you could sort of get an idea of someone's confidence and knowledge and experience by listening to them and hearing them talk on social media platforms. And now we can't post any of that. We can't post our before and afters, which I don't like. The whole industry's still doing it. I don't know what's going on. And as a result, clients are getting misled.
Yeah.
Getting misled. Like, what am I going to get? What am I going to expect? Let me find something cheap.
I just wish people would take these treatments more seriously.
Absolutely.
And really the price should be the last thing you think about, in my opinion, because the price you pay for your treatment is not just for your result.
That's correct.
I said this on a video I made on Instagram, but like, it's not just about your result. It's about, you know, the person's expertise, how they're going to deliver you safe results, how they're going to handle your like treatment and your experience, and what they're going to do for you after. Like, there are so many other things to think about, and people just overlook it.
Yeah.
Because their friend went to this place and it was cheap and it was okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is your face.
Absolutely. And you're not paying for the meal. You're paying for the fucking skill.
Amen.
Don't forget that, because that is the most important thing. Because there you go. They just went and paid for the product. They didn't get any skill, ended up in hospital.
Amen. Like, you can't, it's not just about your result. It's about thinking about all the other things as well.
Absolutely.
And clients, a lot of the time, sometimes you might, you know, be the 1% that aren't affected by it, but go and have like a cheaper treatment or somewhere that's a little bit more affordable, or like a lot of clients that can't get an appointment here, or like from our experience with them, can't get an appointment here, so they just go somewhere else, and then it's cheaper for them. Then they end up having to come back to someone a little bit more qualified, have their treatment dissolved and start fresh. Again. And it's time consuming, it's money, it's energy.
It ends up costing them so much more.
Yeah.
Like, so much more. When clients come back and they're like, oh, I couldn't get an appointment with you this day. So I got really impatient and I went down the road. And I think to myself, and I say to them, but
it's your face.
First and foremost,
you've
been my patient for so long. So you know I'm not just available on the same day.
Yeah.
So you can't just say
this
that.
This is going back to people thinking that getting your lips done is like getting your eyebrows waxed. It's really just not the same.
It's really not. It's really not. And it's just getting out of hand. And the social media aspect of it all.
It's a lot.
Influencers or...
The influencer part really grinds my gears.
I just know what words are going to trigger my sister.
The influencer part, like, in the nicest way, like, there are some amazing content creators that I love to watch and whatever, but like, when you're talking about skincare especially, and like your cosmetic procedures, or like anything like dentist, like even going to a dentist, for example, like stuff like that is really important to someone's
anything medical related, anything organ related.
Like, you shouldn't be, if you genuinely have no qualifications, no matter what script they've given you to say, or like whatever you think sounds good, it shouldn't be done. There should be regulation about that.
I agree. The same point, what qualifications have they achieved anywhere in any field?
Well, this is a whole controversial topic about influencers and content
but they
creators
haven't,
and stuff.
like, if you're a lawyer, talk about law.
Fidan, I love her so much.
Yes. If you're a fitness girl, and you're actually qualified, talk about that. Find your niche, find your market.
Beauty guru, talk about beauty.
Exactly. But when they're coming from nowhere, and I saw someone the other day comparing Ice Clinical skincare, which is pharmaceutical,
non-systematic, state-of-the-art, gold standard skincare. What were they comparing it to so I can get angrier?
Drunken Elephant from Sephora.
Are you lying?
I promise.
You can't even compare the two. And people that say vitamin C is just vitamin C. No, it is not.
Don't.
There are different
Offend me like that.
It can be derived from there are so many different aspects of skincare. This can be a whole 2-hour conversation on its own. I'm very passionate about it.
This is why we've created this platform, because there's going to be a lot of talk.
Too much. But yeah, skincare. Oh
but Drunken Elephant.
I think it's drunk elephant. Is it drunk? I wouldn't know.
I don't even know. I heard that. I'm so done with this topic.
I could keep going for hours, but I think we'll leave it there.
But it's important we educate. This is why we've created our amazing platform here, is to be able to share with you guys and educate you guys on the industry and how to feel more prepared, comfortable, and sure that you are choosing the correct practitioner for you.
There is so much to say about this, but I think briefly we can say, I think the most important thing to do firstly is to make sure that they are a verified practitioner.
Absolutely.
Now, the way you can do this in Australia is by going onto a website called Ahpra.
We'll add the link below.
So it's basically like a website that is it's a government website, and it has every single qualified medical practitioner on there. Whether doctors, nurses, enrolled nurses, dermatologists, surgeons, everyone who has a qualification. So you can type in their name and they should come up, and you can actually click on their account and you can see if there are any complaints about them, if they've had any sort of issues, how long they've been qualified, where they're practicing. So it's quite informative. And I think that should be the first thing that you're doing. Just because someone says they are something, it doesn't mean that they are.
Exactly.
Some people claim to be dogs and they're not dogs. So, we just got to verify the information given the times that we live in. So that should be the first thing you do.
Yeah.
Second thing you should do is probably maybe look at their work, look at if they have a website where
absolutely.
Get to know them.
Create a relationship. Shop around practitioners. Go do as much consults, as many as you feel, until you feel comfortable with that practitioner. You don't just commit to a treatment because you're in a consultation. A lot of the times that could happen.
This puts a little tickle in my throat when someone says, I was forced to do a treatment. No, I
felt embarrassed to leave.
Pressured.
And pressured.
You can't, I'm not sure, but I can't imagine it because I would never make someone feel that way.
It's not our brand.
And during our we have obviously our own protocols in the way that we do things in clinic, but there are 1,000,001 chances for you to be like, okay, you know what, I don't want to do the treatment today. I want to think about it. We ask you, we basically give you so many options not to do the treatment because we don't care about, making the sale and getting the job done. It's about you feeling
patient satisfaction.
And you should never feel pressured to do a treatment.
No, that's correct. It's our duty of care as registered nurses, as your practitioners, to hold your hand through the whole process. And I have often declined treatment if I feel a client is not 150% absolutely ready and committed to have these treatments or have me touch their faces. Yeah. There are times my clients will be, oh no, it's fine. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. I say, okay, hold on. Let's talk through the nerves.
Or they have a friend's room that's like, just do it. And
I'm like, the friend, get out,
leave downstairs.
I don't want to hear it. It's between me and her. Do not talk until you are spoken to. At no point you should feel pressured to even stay.
Yeah.
Get up and say, I want to leave, or can I think about it? May I reschedule? And you can go and think about.
And if they say no, get your ass up and walk out.
100%.
It's not that hard.
No one's going to really
ever feel
put a gun to your head and say, stay here. I'm strapping you to that bed.
And if they are, call the police.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing. Asking about your practitioner. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Really, I think it's important that you have some sort of relationship with your practitioner.
Absolutely.
Go in, feel comfortable.
Feeling comfortable
you trust
is a very
them.
good one, yeah.
Another thing that's important, how much experience they have, how much they spend studying, what they do to stay up to date with regulations.
Ask as many questions
as possible.
and don't feel embarrassed to be like, I have people that still come up to me and say, when did you start nursing? I've been nursing 18
Well, you know what? You're just that young, Biba. No one knows.
Thanks, honey. It's all at work.
That's a lot. That's a big one as well.
It's a big one. And I never get offended. People call and say, does Biba know how to do a lip flip? And that makes me want to bash my head to the wall. But I don't get upset because I love that they're asking a question. Are actually asking. They're that invested in their own, they want to know, this is going to be my nurse. Yeah. Do we trust her? Does she know?
I love when clients come in because like Biba, obviously before I started injecting and even now that I do inject, we spend a lot of time traveling and investing in our learning. Like Biba, before I started, traveled a lot more. Yeah. Obviously with COVID and stuff, it's been a little bit difficult, but in Australia, overseas, Paris, Monaco, Dubai, Switzerland, like anywhere we can go where we can invest and learn something, we will go because it's so important. Like I said before, like I'm confident in what I do, but I also know that there is so much more out there that I need to know and I'm yet to know and that I can better my practice. And this is still such a new industry.
Oh, it's forever growing.
And it's so fastly growing. And there's just so much to know. So I think it's important you ask, like, what have you done to keep up to date? Yeah. I don't think it's sufficient enough for someone to get out of nursing school, do like a 1-week crash course and inject via a textbook and just tell you, oh, you're actually allowed to put Botox in this muscle when you can. Yeah. There's so much learning. Like I am very advanced and I still, like Heidi comes to conferences with me and sees I am the biggest nerd. Like I will hold my notebook and like rip through pages. I am writing word for word. Like I am nitpicking. Like I'm just, it's never so stop And even learning. When people who are advanced and like, for example, Biba, like we go back to conference and like going back to basics is so important as well as a practitioner. Like you need to, sometimes you think, oh, you're so, like you do things a certain way where you need to just.
You've been injecting for 1 year, so now you're advanced.
Or you're a specialist.
And you're a specialist.
It's crazy. Like
that's what they need to change the laws on.
Well, you can't actually now. You can't say you're a specialist anymore.
Okay, not the specialist, but they're all advanced and they're all highly experienced after senior. 1 year or senior.
Like even with myself, like for example, like before I started doing cosmetic injectables, I had been working in the industry for 4 or 5 years, 4 years and a half, I don't know, whatever, a lot of years. And I thought I knew everything because I had been watching Biba, listening to Biba, reading all these anatomy books. And I'm like, I know this muscle and this fat pattern. I knew all the regions. And I was like,
and I used to tell her, and I used to tell her, I'm like, you wait until you put needle to face.
And then I consulted. I was like, oh, I did that so good. Got everything ready. And then I went to put the needle in her face and I was like, whoa. I'm scared. I know. And because I'm like, once you're in there, like you know where things are, but you don't know exactly where they are. But you always have to be careful. You obviously like, but it's a whole different ballgame.
But with your consistent learning, knowledge, practice, growing your horizon, like you will become a lot more confident. Which
I have, definitely.
I kept telling her, I'm like, even till now, like I will be doing a treatment and I'm like, could I have done that better?
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. I can't fault it. There isn't a fault in my work. It's that great. But
I can't with you.
But I still would think, how could I have done this better?
Yeah. But that's the mentality you need to have.
Exactly. Because I'm never going to get too cocky. Once I get too cocky, once I sit there and start thinking, oh, I don't need to go further learn. I don't need to expand my knowledge of
that's where we have an issue, guys.
Yeah. That's when we're going to have issues. So I'm booking flights now. Let's go to IMCAS. Monaco. Everyone's in IMCAS right now. This is the first year in the last 5 years I'm in Sydney.
I know.
This time of year.
IMCAS is the International Master Aesthetics Symposium in Paris. So it's like the largest non-surgical conference basically in the world. Yeah. And it happens in Paris generally first week of Feb, first few days. But there's also one in Monaco. Biba went to the one in Monaco last year and loved it.
I went to all of them last year.
So hopefully we